I remember even at some point in life, it was kind of coincidence, but there was a platform that came up. It was called YouNow, where people would come and talk. The first thing that came to me when YouNow was a thing was, let me put my gameplay on there. So I technically streamed when I was 10 years old without even actually knowing that I was streaming, which is pretty coincidental, but pretty cool, you know, as you think about it now.
Wow. No rain. Hello and welcome to the Naren Agarwal Show. Folks, we always try to have diverse conversations. And today I have somebody from an industry that I have no idea about. And I'm curious to know. He's a dear friend of mine, Mr. Bisher Zumot. Bibi lives in Dubai and is a content creator at Twitch. He streams game. He's a full-time gamer, gaming enthusiast. And I'm curious to ask him a lot of questions. Bibi, welcome to the show.
Naren, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure, honestly, to be called by you. I haven't seen you in a while. I really miss you, man. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure, obviously. And yeah, thank you for the lovely, lovely, warm introduction, man. I'm really excited to be here, and big regards from Dubai coming towards everyone and all the viewers. Appreciate
Thank you,
you
bro.
all.
Assalamu alaikum to you. Peace be upon you. And I want to talk to you about gaming today. I have no idea about these things. Also, by the way, guys, Bibi on the side has a computer playing and he's gaming. Are you an obsessive gamer?
I am, dude. I would like. There's a meme that talks about this boss coming to fire a guy because he's playing games, and the guy looks out and is like, "Why?" That's literally me. Like I play games on my work. I play games everywhere while I'm pooping, while I'm showering. Yeah, gaming is just my world. So pretty excited about it.
Bro, I can't believe that you're playing a game on the side as we do this. Alright, guys. I asked him, hey, guy, like, Bibi, you know, you can turn off the game. And he's like, no, I'll be fine. Like, I'll focus on you, but let this play on the side. That's crazy, bro. Bibi, are video games the only kind of games you play? Or are you into other kind of games as well, like board games, etc.? Or is it like mainly video games?
No, I'm actually into board games as well. Board games have a very, very, very major factor of my life. For some time in my university lives, I used to always, like, weekly go to a board game place and we play there together. Also physical games, like, let's say, sports as well, is a main thing in my life as well. So yeah, I'm pretty much into games in general. So video games currently is a major, technically the only thing I'm doing in my life right now. But it's very major, and I really, really enjoy games in general.
Yeah. So, bro, tell me about this movement of first people used to enjoy gaming, like playing games on their computer, on their phone. And then Twitch, this website happened and other such websites came where people watch other people play games on video. Like, how does this work? What is this industry? I don't understand it.
So pretty funny. I was actually against all this a little bit previously in my life. Like as a younger child, I remember watching my brother, who at that time was watching PewDiePie, who's currently he was number one on YouTube. Now he's like in the top 5. So PewDiePie used to play games and stream all the time. He wasn't the first to start it, but he was the most popular at it. Back in the day, I'm talking about like 2010 and even previously. So at that time, I was like, why watch someone play when you can play yourself? Right?
Yes.
And that's what made sense to me at that time. But then move forward a few years, I started getting into Twitch. That Twitch was one of the biggest platforms for streaming. And I was a part of the community. And I kind of started understanding why people do it. It's the community engagement. It's the feedback you get from the users, the people watching you, having that, you know, some people are building a social life online rather than having it. So I can bring my friends here and we all play together, or I can do it online with the viewers, but I'm reaching way more people this way. And slowly, I started understanding what's going on, and I started getting into it myself. So from the person who thought it was a dumb idea to watch people play games, I now play games and people watch me. So if you're my viewer, I love you so much. You're not dumb anymore, but like I love you so much. And yeah, so that's how the transition happened. And now, alhamdulillah, I've been streaming for a while. Actually, we just hit 1 year, my anniversary, 1 year of a full-time streamer. So I was in the community for years now. I've been a moderator for many channels. I've been a viewer for many channels. I've been in the community gaming myself, but as a streamer full-time, I've been doing it for almost a year now.
Wow, you're really into the gaming zone. And before this, you've also like held some positions at a couple places as like a regional brand ambassador for like Esports World Academy and like you were a business development manager at Go Gamers. What are these like full-time jobs about in the gaming world? Like, what did you do? What is this entail?
So obviously, as a gaming enthusiast, someone who's been gaming almost their entire life. So my first game started RuneScape. Well, I'm talking about big games. Obviously, I played those mini clip games back in the day, but my main big game was RuneScape. And as I grew, I was always into the gaming world, right? So as a major in my university, I did game development. And so I have a computer science degree. I'm technically a programmer by profession, and I majored in games. So that's how it all started. Obviously, it took an effort to convince my parents because, they're like, engineer, Arab engineer. And so I did manage to convince them. I said it's a software engineer and obviously majoring in game. But they're very proud of me now as they see my progress. And yeah, so my first job was actually teaching game development. I was a teacher at some point, and I really enjoyed it, watching kids learn how to make their games. And obviously, that was very impactful because I was able to transition the idea to the parents where, gaming is not bad. As many people have this mentality where gaming is not something that's productive to you specifically, but I was able to transition that thought from like, oh, gaming is a waste of time to gaming is something that they could actually benefit from and make money out of. And I actually do this course regularly now to actual big people like adults and stuff, where how you make money or how you turn gaming into a career. And I've done this a couple of times. So that was my first job. And then move on a few times. I did a couple of like OSN jobs. I worked with OSN, the TV company. I did some development there, some designing. And then I moved to Go Gamers, which was a tournament platform. A big company, really great work environment. They've done a couple of events. They've hosted some. So I was the business development manager there, and I really enjoyed that environment and the workplace. So I was in charge of like building tournaments every week, managing them, talking to clients, getting sponsors, all that stuff. Really got me into the industry, especially in the Middle East, knowing companies, knowing big brands who are involved. All that kind of helped me personally as well as the company, right? And then moved to IWA, which was an academy to teach kids how to build a career from gaming. And eventually I work for Funko now, which is more of a pop culture thing. So Funko is the toys, and I work there. Really enjoyed it, honestly. And I'm happy that my life has been taking me through this industry specifically. Obviously, while I'm doing all that, I was on the side, or technically at some point even full-time, I was streaming and obviously creating content online on Instagram and Twitch, YouTube, etc., etc. I do mostly gaming, but I also have some other. So I have my Be Positive show, which Naren was actually a host there. He will probably share the link, so definitely go watch that episode. I personally learned so much about it. I even rewatch it sometimes because some things you said, man, like I promise you, it was amazing. And I remember I still want you to do that pyramid picture that you were talking about. It's really amazing, man. Like some things you said there was really, really impactful to my life specifically. So generally that's my content that I create online, and yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's been a wild run, and I'm loving every part of it.
Bro, I want to ask you, like, this is very unique, right? You studied in college for this. When did you know that you want to get into the gaming industry? And did you know there was a scope? Because so all of a sudden it's building and it's blown up right now. Maybe back in the day, you wouldn't see so many avenues of actually monetizing gaming. What gave you the confidence to go forward? And how did you convince yourself that this is what you want to do? Like, when did that spark come?
Since childhood, honestly. Like I remember I even wanted, like, technically Dubai is kind of limited in terms of education. So I didn't even know there was a gaming major back then. I just wanted to become a normal computer scientist and then go work for a gaming company.
You always knew that.
Yeah. It's one of my gaming companies that I really wanted to work for. This mentality kind of changed, but still something in my heart. Jagex, which is the company that created RuneScape, the game that I used to play. This game, I've been playing it for over 18 years. Like I'm almost hitting the 20 mark. Yeah. So this game, I've been so involved in this game. I'm one of the top players in the whole game, actually. Kind of maxed out all the levels and stuff. Again, I've been playing it for years. So, and I wanted to work for that company. I even applied as I graduated, but I couldn't travel because of some visa issues and all that. So sadly, that didn't work out. But then obviously things has taken a turn, and I'm still happy about it. The results and what happened. So I'm kind of still thankful. But yeah, the idea was there since the beginning. I've always wanted to be a gamer. I remember even at some point in life, it was kind of coincidence, but there was a platform that came up. It was called YouNow, where people would come and talk. The first thing that came to me when YouNow was a thing was, let me put my gameplay on there. So I technically streamed when I was 10 years old without even actually knowing that I was streaming, which is pretty coincidental, but pretty cool, as you think about it now.
Wow. Bro, that's awesome. Like since 10 years, since you were 10 years, you're kind of into this, and you also technically streamed in that platform way back ahead. What I want to ask you is now about gaming. So all these games that people play and get together, are these games like all online nowadays? Because see, back in the day, the games I used to play, and it's been a while, but those were the CD games, like the GTA Vice City and the Crazy Taxi CD games. So nowadays, when all people are playing, how do they see, and how is the community built? Is it because all these games are online?
So let me get to GTA, since you brought that example. Yeah. I kind of like that. So GTA was a standalone game. That's what you call the single player games. So you just go in there, you play, you do your missions, and that's it. So it's mainly an open world, so you can do anything that you want, that kind of thing. But GTA now, which is GTA 5, is a role-playing kind of game. So people actually get into the character and start role-playing that character. So that's what's really popular and big right now. Online games are good. Standalone games and solo games are also good, but it just depends on where you see yourself. So some people like playing in games together with a team or with a player or playing against each other. And some people just like being alone in the game. As a variety streamer, I play both and I enjoy both, but like both have its advantages and disadvantages. And it's mainly a different thing. So you could be a really good League of Legends player, which requires a 5-player team to go and kind of defeat the Nexus. Or you could just play a game like Life is Strange, being a solo player, like getting into missions, choosing your quests and all that. So you could do both. I honestly feel the online industry is going further because of how engaging and how involving that community is. So solo games are usually, company makes a good game, you play it once, you finish it, you like it, you could play it again, but that's it. That mainly ends. So the only way to kind of grow the brand or fulfill the satisfaction of the player is by putting more parts of the game, or like releasing a game every year that is similar. So like we have Life is Strange Behind the Storm, etc., and it keeps going. Or like we say Dota 1, Dota 2.
Correct.
Overwatch 1, those are online games, but like people are always increasing. So having solo games, they always need to be
updated, new version has to come, like cars.
Exactly. Online games, you can always find things to do, right? You can always change your game style, you can try new things. Updates are a very common thing. So like a standalone game, you can come up with updates, but they won't really affect the game. But like online games, updates affect the game. There's a major update that like changes how the game plays, adds new features into the game, etc. So those are where the community is really involved. Some companies, what they even do is they ask the players for feedback, which kind of helps grow the community. And I think that's where the thing is powerful. I believe a company that listens to their players is a company that's going to be really successful.
Wow. So what's like a very popular game in the moment as we speak? Like what's a game that everybody in the gaming community is talking about and loving?
So a lot of games are like trendy games, right? They come for a second, they lose. The game that's been lasting a lot is, let's say, League of Legends, Fortnite, Counter-Strike. Those games have been lasting for years. So Fortnite was a big trend back in 2018, 2019. Now it's a dying game, but it's still pretty big. There's a huge community. We're talking about like billions of players, that kind of thing.
Wow.
So, yeah. We're talking about like millions, even billions of players. I'm like, no joke. Fortnite is still huge. League of Legends as well. Many accounts were created since then. People have 5-6 accounts each. Huge game. Some games have become very trendy in the past few years. So like, actually, let me talk about the past 6 months. So Among Us is a game that became really popular. The fact that it's a very simple game, it was very accessible even on phones, made it very popular. Fall Guys was a game that hit the trend really quickly, but then died out really quickly. Valheim is a game that came very quickly, people enjoying it. There's a couple of those games, like they're really popular for a month. Every single person is playing them, and then they slowly died out. So that kind of thing. Some games were even built like 2-3 years back, but then they become popular now just because a big streamer started playing them, or a big streamer started pushing them, and things start going from there. So yeah, I don't want to say there's a popular game. It's just what you like. So a lot of people don't like Fortnite, even though it's very popular. A lot of people don't like League because it's very toxic, but then very popular. So I just feel like gamers are gamers. If you like a game, go for it.
Yeah. So what I want to ask you is, what's your favorite game? And something that you enjoy playing a lot.
You're hitting me right here in the spot. I honestly don't have an answer to that. Like, I like them all equally. In fact, many of my friends always wonder, they're like, why don't you just stick to one game? I told them I can't. If I leave this game for like a few weeks, I'll die. Like I'll feel like something's missing. It's being a variety streamer makes this really difficult. Like sometimes
games have played so far, baby. I know
in my life.
Your life, if I would ask you.
I am not even kidding. I probably hit like the 3,000, 4,000 games.
What?
I'm not even kidding. I probably, like, I'm talking about games that I actually played. If we're talking about games that I tried, probably goes up to 10,000. I am the person who goes on Steam, which is a store, and buys those $1, $2 games, $1, $2 games, and actually plays them to support the developers. Because a lot of those, like, some people just play the popular games, right? Games that have millions of players. Yeah. I am the person who would go to like the cheapest game, find out, oh, this guy worked hard, he made a game, let me support this guy, let me try his out.
Wow.
Usually those games are like 1 hour, 2 hour gameplays. So like I would literally finish them in a sitting, like just play the game real quick, give feedback, find reviews, all that stuff, support the players. You know, to a big company, paying $100 is nothing, but like to that small developer, that indie developer, you pay like $5. That's like a good chunk of money for him, you know, and it really supports him. So like if 100 people buy his game, he already made enough salary to go and make another game, and that's how you grow someone. And that's what's the differentiation. So we have something that's called AAA games. Those are like the best popular big games like Fortnite, League, all that stuff. And then we have indie games, which is independent, let's say studios or independent.
Yeah, like kind of like music artists, indie artists. Yeah,
exactly. So and I'm a very, very, very big supporter of the indie industry, because I really believe that those small studios, if you really push them, give them the right support, I believe they can grow and do wonderful things.
Bro, this is awesome to hear, because I never had any idea and clue about such things in the gaming industry, right? Like an indie gaming developer, supporting the gaming developer, because that's not how I think in the frame of mind, but it's really cool to hear from you. And it seems like you are a passionate gamer. You want to go out and help even the smallest of the smallest company, because you want good games to come up. Now, some people say that gaming, you know, is bad for the child. Gaming spoils children. It is detrimental to the mind, especially those like violent games. What is your take on all these negative criticisms, especially by parents who have their children growing up, wanting them to not play games?
At some point in my life, I was getting a living to convince parents that it's not. As a developer myself, so I'm a person who makes games, right? So we even have a couple of games ourselves. That's why I understand the struggle of the indie developers. Not just that, but like I play games. I play the most violent games you can play, including horror, shooting, all that stuff. I don't grab a bazooka and start shooting people around. See me do that. I generally don't think it's like having someone being influenced by this. I don't think it's the game's fault. The game could potentially put ideas in your head, but it's not the thing that's going to impact really. And I'm talking about like the minorities of the minorities. It's very rare that someone is going to be influenced or get an idea of shooting someone just by playing a shooting game, or get violent because it's playing a fighting game. I think games are the most softest or most innocent way of putting that idea out there. In fact, I believe social media should be more of a warning or more of impactful into these things than games. I feel games just grow your brain critically. They make you think about things that are outside your current soft zone. They make you understand how the world works. Trust me, because of RuneScape, the game that I used to play, I was able to learn about mining, about wood cutting, about places in the world, things that my chemistry teacher would be like, how the hell do you know this? And I'm like, I play a game, right? So there's a lot of education things, a lot of educational path through the games. A lot of people learn things from the game. A lot of games are even educational in the essence, where like you can actually play a full educational game and learn a lot of it from it, but having that gamification thing. I have a small startup that I just started recently with my friend. It's called B Games, right? Where we enable someone to kind of use their platform or use their gaming to make others happy and still make money out of it. So you can host tournaments, you can post content, you can allow, you're basically building a platform for you using our help to be able to kind of take what you have to the world. And that kind of helps them in the business side and also helps them do what they like. Just to kind of support the people who are into this, but can't really get that startup, like some people are just, I don't have enough funds, or I don't have the time. So with this, I can eliminate all that dirty work for them and just let them do what they want to do, right? So that's a startup we're working on. Really cool, in my opinion. I hope people also think it's cool. So in while I'm pitching that startup, I also talk about how gaming is really important and it's growing. Many big companies are really interested in the gaming world as well. Even companies that are completely irrelevant to games. I don't want to mention names, but there are companies like banking companies, technological companies. They're all interested in games just because of the data. So what they're interested in isn't really the gamers, it's the data of the gamers. Because most of these companies are only able to get data of 18 and above years old. Many people want the data of the younger generation, and the only way to get that data is through games. So a lot of big companies are actually interested in the gaming, not because of the gaming itself, but because of the data that comes from the gaming. So it's a growing industry for sure. A lot of people are starting to become open-minded about it. A lot of people are making big cash about it. Like I know streamers who sleep and make triple my salary. Like I know engineers who don't make as much, but I know streamers who make triple my salary just sleeping, guys. Like it's insane. Like never have I ever in my world imagined someone would pay me to sleep. It's just insane, like these things are literally changing the industry and changing the world. Like economically, these things are really changing. If like 10,000 sleeping streamers start taking all the money of the world, like the engineers also need to eat, it's just interesting. I feel like people really need to understand the trends, need to have involvement in what's going on, and I feel that's what kind of pushes the big streamers on the small streamers, is because they understand the trends. They are out there. They're really putting the effort into it. A lot of my friends started last year, right when the corona pandemic started hitting the world. A lot of people were like, "Oh well, I'm free. Let me start streaming," right? But 1 month in and they would already die out, because I don't see the consistency. I don't see that it's the passion. Streaming is not easy. A lot of people think he's playing games.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Trust me, guys, I've had days where I wake up and I don't want to see anyone's face, but I still go out there and put a smile and I'm like, hey, let's play games, right? It's not easy. It is like a full-time job. You have to put as much effort as you put in a full-time job. It's a little fun, sure. I agree with you guys. It's not like, I have to go to a boring office, that kind of thing. But it's not easy as well. And being able to build your own brand, being able to actually manage your own time, being able to understand how your expenses are working. Because a lot of people think streaming is like, I'm getting billions. Not really. I mean, unless you really hit it big, you don't really get that much money. You have to really start somewhere and be consistent for years before you actually hit it somewhere, And so far I've been supported. I'm so happy that my viewers are supporting me. They're always there. Many loyal guys. Like, I love you guys. You're my heart. And so far I've been enjoying
what
it.
I want to ask you about, like, the streaming thing is, what do you think keeps someone engaged in you playing a game? Like, how can you engage people? Like, what kind of communication has to go in for people to be like, I'm going to watch BB play a game rather than tens of thousands of people play a game?
That's a lovely question. I actually love this question, and I have a very interesting point of view about it. Like I mentioned earlier, it's always keeping up with the trends again. So like if I'm playing a game that's been dying for like years, people wouldn't really want to watch this. People would want to watch games. most of the reason, like and I learned this myself. Again, I was against this in the beginning, and I learned this. Many people watch streamers play is because they can't purchase the game themselves. That's one of the big reasons why. Like, so for example, I don't have a good monitor or a PC to play that game. So the best way that I can get involved in that game is by watching someone play it, right? Another reason is I play the game, but I'm not as good as this guy in the game. So I watch him to learn how to become better. So that's another way why people watch the streams, right? So you kind of want to pursue that, and you want to kind of preview that in your streams as well. Another main thing is always keep them involved, especially if it's like a game which requires decisions. Get them involved. Hey, chat, what do you think I should do? Let's do this just because you guys chose it for me, that kind of thing. And I always do this. I tell them, let's vote it out. And because they feel engaged and into the game as much as I am, that's why they want to stay and watch more, you know? Keep them involved. If you can even let them. So online games, what I do is I have a lot of like, let's say Thursday nights. I used to call them BB Thursday nights, where I play collaborative games with the viewers. So we have games like Jackbox, Among Us, and sometimes we even play actual games like Valorant with the viewers or League with the viewers, and they play the game with me as well. So that's what keeps them involved. And yeah, so there's Twitch and the gaming world in general help with these things. There's games that are suitable for the viewers. There are games that are integrated with Twitch themselves. So the tools are there. It's just about you applying them right. And I feel that's where the power comes in, is you applying them right.
That's pretty cool, man. Wow, this is a whole different world for me, and I'm so happy that I'm learning about these from you. I think you made some really cool points about understanding where people are from, why they're watching you, and giving them actually what they are there for. So one can be the aspirational aspect of it, and then another can be just to learn, the learning aspect of it. And third, you making a game out of the game, right? You're making a game for them. Hey, what should I do? And that keeps them engaged.
Definitely. Not just that, but even doing it in the way they like it. So like, so I'm a guy who's very fond with culture. So like being in Dubai, and it's a world where a lot of cultures are there. So I know how to like communicate to Filipinos, to Indians, to Arabs, to white people, to Africans. So I can, you know, shift my my attitude or my mentality based on their culture, right? And I feel this is very powerful because I am able to do that in the stream. So that kind of also touches them. So people like to watch people who are relevant to them, right? So if an Irani guy shows up on stream, he would rather watch an Irani guy play than an American guy play. Not because of anything, but because he would feel more close to the Iranian community, right? So if I can also portray that in my stream, like, hey, I'm a guy who's just like you, and you can be as good as me, and you can be doing what I'm doing. Hey, I want to watch this guy. I feel like I want to support this guy. This is something I want to watch. This is the content that I can only keep watching. And once you reach to that level with the viewer, I feel like you gain them as a friend and as a fan. So this is where you want to really kind of put your goal into there. So each viewer, you want to turn them into a fan and into a friend and potentially into family. So like a lot of my people who I met online are very close and really dear to my heart. And we literally play every day and we talk every day and all that.
Bro, that's awesome to hear. What a great perspective. How would you rate yourself as a gamer without being modest? I don't want you to be humble, but neither do I want you to be like if I were to ask you to be objective, how would you rate yourself as a gamer?
0.
0 out of what?
Out of whatever. It's 0. It's
why? Why do you say that, bro? You have such a big following. Like when it comes to people watching, you want to play.
That's the funny part. So as a gamer, I'm really bad at all games. I'm not the best at any game because I'm a variety streamer. Like, so rather than me being good at one game, I play 10,000 games and I'm not good at each of them. Like I'm average. I'm good enough so that people don't think I'm like retarded in the game, but I'm not the best to a point where like, oh, people are gonna come specifically to watch me for that. And I even write this, in my bio. If you actually go down under my profile, you see that the only thing that blocks my bad gameplay is my awesome personality. And I feel like this is what attracts people to me, is the bloopers that happen, the funny things that I do in the game. Like me playing bad is actually good content for the players, you know? So yeah, as a gamer, I believe like I'm zero. I'm doing exactly what gamers shouldn't be doing. Usually a proper gamer is a person who takes one game, becomes really good at it, and becomes a pro whatever game, right? So a pro League player or a pro Valorant player, that kind of thing. So as a gamer, I'm zero. But as a content creator, I feel like I'm a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
hopefully I want to become way higher. I want to become like a 15, a 20, a 100, But definitely I feel like as a content creator, I'm much more powerful than a gamer, even though I love the game. So I would have much more knowledge and much more variety in games than many gamers out there, but I'm not the best gamer in terms of like skills and, game and all that stuff.
That's a great perspective. You have a variety, and what you bring out is a personality. You bring out you, and that's what people like. Not just the fact that you can play well, but the fact that you can engage with them, interact with them, and get them on board with your playing. That is an awesome perspective, bro.
So not jack of all trades, jack of all games.
Yeah. Jack of all games, jack of all games, Bisher Zumot.
That's actually a fun. I might change my bio to that. Jack of all games. Sounds
jack
cool.
Of all games. I like that. I like that. Bibi, lastly, what is some trend that people should look out for? People who are, let's say, businessmen, or people who are businesswomen, people who are professionals, wanting to understand the gaming industry, might not want to get into gaming themselves. What is a trend they should watch out for, so that they can understand and maybe potentially capitalize on a gaming trend that's coming around the world? What do you see as a gamer?
All right. So as a teaser to the course that I keep doing, 3 things that you can make money out of games. 1 is being involved yourself. So what I'm doing is streaming yourself or playing yourself, all that stuff. 2 is developing a game, which requires money, business, capital, all that stuff. And 3 is get into a gaming industry. 1, you got to do it. I don't think that's the option for these guys. 2 is understand the gaming industry and what is currently the best genre of games. So I could, my boss who used to work in Go Gamers had absolutely zero knowledge about gaming, right? But he was able to run a whole gaming business and a gaming community and a gaming company, because he had the right people to do that information for him, right? So he would get the gamers, he would get the customers, he would get the people who are into the gaming industry. They would find the information. He would just fund it, understand. But he wasn't an idiot. He wasn't like running blindly. He knew what was going on. He just didn't really care about the details, right? There were people who got the details for him. And I feel that's very powerful. So as a businessman, what you can do is you can understand the trends, understand the real genre that's really popping up, make a game out of it. Obviously, you don't need to you have a team that will develop it for you and then build it that way. And that's how many popular games came out to that. And 3rd is get into the gaming industry. You could potentially be a marketing person in a gaming industry. You could potentially be a finance manager in a gaming industry. You could potentially be an artist in the gaming industry. Any job can potentially be translated into a gaming industry. You can be whoever you want, but just get into the gaming industry. And I feel that's where the power comes from. So like, instead of me doing finances for like assets, real estate, stores, all that stuff, I could do assets for like computers, chairs, gaming accessories, all that stuff. And it would do the same, but instead you're learning more about the game industry, which is honestly, guys, an industry that's growing like
that's
significantly. Like, guys, I believe eventually 2 things that are going to rule the world: technology and social media and gaming. Both of those are I believe in the future, we're going to be at a point where I am currently sitting. I know what Naren's doing without having to video call him, I know what he's doing just by like logging into my cloud. I can see what Naren's video is doing, what his house looks like, what he's playing, what he's doing. And that's already happening to some extent. Like, I'm on you with a call right now. I know who's online playing RuneScape. I know who's online playing other things. I know I'm on Discord as well, and I know who's online on Discord. So I already have much details. So I believe that as this advances, things are going to be getting more and more powerful and more impactful towards someone's life. So if you're not into that field, I feel like you're going to be really behind. It's like someone who doesn't know how to read in this age.
Wow.
So definitely get into that. Technology, social media, and games. Those are like really big. In fact, I feel many universities, like nowadays, my university actually puts this as a whole course So like social media or mobile applications and games. So those are like whole courses in universities, and that's how powerful they are now. And I feel like people should really start getting into these.
That's awesome. One final question, the main question that I had in mind for you is, I've been researching a lot about blockchain technology and how decentralization is happening. I read a cool story the other day that the guy who made Ethereum, he was inspired because he used to play a game, and all of a sudden the gaming company removed a favorite piece of the game that he liked. And since that day, he got passionate about creating decentralized systems, because the central authority could take away what he enjoyed.
True.
And he got passionate about decentralized systems. Vitalik, the guy who created Ethereum. So what do you think? Have you researched a little bit about blockchain? And if blockchain comes, this decentralization, how would that impact gamers in the gaming industry?
So, like I said, I already have a degree in computer science, and I got the title of the Hackathon King in my university. So I'm also very, very, very informative about technology in general. Obviously, with this topic is about gaming, but I kind of just want to highlight on investing in crypto in general. So crypto is a big thing in the world right now. A lot of people are making big fulus out of it. So definitely get into that. But good point about the Ethereum part. Ethereum grew as a currency in general is because of its potential and the things that it can do with technology. So it's not just like a coin that you can keep for like a wallet. It's not like a Bitcoin where it's just money and that's it. It has actual application platform, which is what grows Ethereum. And I feel like there's a lot of things like that. In fact, many people were considering Dogecoin to become a thing that you can pay online for entertainment. That's how people were associating with it. And putting that kind of association to a currency makes it much more powerful. So like, instead of me like donating dollars to you as a streamer, I can donate like cryptocurrency in that sense. And I feel those things are gonna grow very well in the future. So definitely blockchain is something like a technology that you should get into. IoT is something that you should definitely get into. Blockchain is going to be very powerful because in the future, things were not like I can stream from a decentralized place. No one can control me. I don't have to follow anything. Obviously, guidelines will be there, but like I don't have to follow them myself. I can get donations from anonymously people. Obviously, you know, having all these things help us, but also can help. But can be damaging to us as well. Obviously, once put with the right guidelines, things can work very well. So blockchain is a very powerful technology. It's been created for years. People just started getting to like know about it a little more, kind of stop being ignorant about it. So a lot of my friends have even shifted their mentality. Like in the beginning, they were kind of skeptical about cryptocurrency and blockchain in general. Now they're much more open-minded. Some of them become investors in that field. So I feel like gaming is definitely growing in that sense, in terms of like blockchain, currencies, cryptos, in terms of being able to develop as well. Nowadays, I can create smart contracts on a blockchain for a company that could develop something for me without having to do anything or pay any tax or do anything that's like irrelevant to my actual goal, you know? And that helps the person grow and build more things. So definitely a lot. In fact, I even see games running on the blockchain in the future, games where like require you to kind of build a node, do things like that. It's pretty powerful. So I feel like definitely things to be involved in that industry.
That's awesome. Bibi, thank you so much for a great conversation. I definitely got to learn more about the gaming industry and what makes you passionate about games. Anything at the end that you would like to say?
Guys, I love you all. Good luck with the gaming industry. Please feel free to get in touch with me if you need any help or if you need any tip or anything. Naren, I would like to personally thank you. You're the hero of this show, and thank you so much for having me on board. I really enjoyed it. Something to be able to kind of speak passionately about something that I really like. Thank you for providing this opportunity for me. And let's catch up soon, man. Like get your ass to Dubai, man. Like,
that would be awesome once the Corona thing ends. And also, I will now not interrupt you while you're playing your favorite game.
Feel free to interrupt me as much as you want, dude. I love you so much. And again, thank you all. I hope you all enjoy, and make sure you're following Naren. Make sure you're following me, and take care, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, Bibi. Cheers. Have a good time in Dubai, man. Bye-bye.